one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I've tried to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest.
Yesterday that we are aware of, and now we're trying to contain him. Got him there. Where the story began as far as when we gathered to do what was happening. Are you missing a cow? So we have one down here. We're hearing them. Both broke through, and he's been all sold to distributors.
Well, good morning. Hello there. We hope this finds you well and progressing in your walk as we are here, and I'm going to send love and encouragement out your way to say we're walking, keep walking by faith, and we're here doing it with you. This next episode is going to show you first a clip of some things we put together that are precious to us, things that have been put in our lives that the Lord has given us to be stewards over, and they mean a great deal to us, and we take tender care for each and everything. Some of the things you're going to see, we just put it together quickly for you to get a glimpse of this, of our lives here. But I want you to take in that if anything, any one of these things would be harmed or lost, or something harmful came against it, how we would go about trying to restore it, to retrieve it, love on it, and how much that would mean to us, and bring it back to be with us, if that is possible. So with that same love and endeavor that we have with the things we're going to share with you is the same that we have for other people's things. Because we know that, if it's not ours, but somebody else's, and we find something, and we're to restore it, we're to give it back to the rightful owner. And so we want you to take a look at this too, as sharing with you what's happened on the farm and some pieces of what has come in our neighborhood, in our farm this week that we are dealing with. And it's not simple. It's required work, energy, and effort to work with it and to get it where it needs to be, even though it's not ours, and how that plays out. So, think about the things we're sharing with you in the beginning, and then we'll move into another piece where it's going to share with you some things that we are walking out. And I have to say, even yet this morning, we're still walking out, and we'll continue to probably for the next couple of days, or until God says the time is up that it's going to be restored to the rightful owner. So take some heed from this, and be encouraged by it, knowing that we're doing it too. And hopefully it'll be a lesson for you and your family that you can learn from and apply to your life, or if you're already doing it, encourage others to do it. So hang on, the clips are ready to show you more of WCOM and the farm and how we're walking the walk.
So we're here at the other farm, and I don't know if you can really tell as much, but there's a cow up there. He's black and white, got a white band around his belly, and he's visiting our farm. He has shown up yesterday that we're aware of, and now we're trying to contain him, but there's a story behind this. So right now we've got him contained in an area, trying to keep him there so that we can get him to his rightful owner. But we'll share with you the story as it unfolds. When we got the phone call, I showed up and we heard that our cow was out, just up in those set of woods. But when I got here, I found out it's not our cow. So this is where the story began as far as when we got introduced to what was happening about a cow being out, but not being ours. And what do you do next? Journey on with me as I share with you what happened yesterday in a search of the owner. Whose cow is it? So I arrived at this farm, which is down the road from our farm, to see and ask, are you missing a cow? If so, we have one down the road. But this isn't where it belonged. But they sent me to another place. And I stopped here to check to see if it was their cow. All right, so then I ended up at this farm to ask this neighbor if they were missing a cow. And they weren't, but they were very helpful. And maybe giving us ideas and possibilities of other surrounding neighbors that might own the cow. Whose cow is it? Here he is. Now Mr. Whitney is out there trying to push him so we can get him further down. Got him inside the other pasture. Got him secure. We're trying to get him down to the barn so we can get his owners to come and pick him up. Keep going, buddy. You need to go home to your rightful owner. Here we go. Keep walking. Keep walking. So what we did here is the bull got in the laneway and we secured gates and got him there because he wanted to check out our other cows. And then Mr. Whitney and my husband are now working towards getting him in a secure place so that he can be taken home. He's been checking out the whole neighborhood though. He's made some trails through the night. I guess he's been out probably since Saturday. He got dropped off at a farm down the road and he took right from the trailer and bolted out and started running. He's been all over the neighborhood since then, and we're now Tuesday. Okay, so this is our farm, one of the two that we have our herd on. And so with much searching of different farms and stopping bys and many phone calls that my husband made and talking to people, and it come to find out the cow belongs to that farm down there. So apparently the cow was just delivered on Saturday on a truck and the gate wasn't secure and the bull broke through, and he's been all through the neighborhood since Saturday. And again, it's now Tuesday. So he's been who knows where, making a journey through the neighborhood. And right now he's in this pasture up in the corner, and we're hoping to get him down through here so that we can get a trailer, get him on it, and get him safely home. So we're at day 3 from the cow that does not belong to us being with us, and up there you can see 2 black and white cows kind of in the front. To the left is the new friend who's arrived, who's doing a face-off with our Susie. So he's just sitting there hanging out, very comfortable, and I heard that his arrival at the first farm was wild and crazy, and he ran off, and he exhibited that at the beginning when he saw us when he was not in our pasture, but now with our cows being in the pasture, he's just hanging out. So I guess this is what we're going to do until the time comes where he's to be released to his rightful owner, when he is more settled and calm and knowing that no one wants to hurt him, but just get him where he belongs. I also want to make mention how calm everyone is. No one has gotten ugly or had an attitude with him. He actually came down last night right through the tunnel and got right in there and ate, and nobody pushed him off. So it's an example of how we can be with each other when a stranger shows up to to just be loving and friendly and let them eat. And he must have heard what it is to have it be in our pasture over here, that good things happen when he comes to visit. Maybe it's good news is in the neighborhood. So here's another experience I want to share with you. These are drums for our maple syrup production. We make maple syrup and we sell in jugs of various sizes to retail to customers, but we also sell bulk, which then would be processed through and put in these containers and then sold to distributors, which we've done for many years. These drums cost a lot of money, and so we deal with different people with selling our product. And two of them arrived home yesterday, these two front ones. And we're very thankful because they're out of town, and instead of having to make the trip, we had somebody who was already over to a distributor and knew there are our drums, so they brought them home to us, and we were very grateful. But the gentleman who brought them obviously didn't own them, but returned them to the owner, which is the right thing to do. But what we found out later is we got a text message from the distributor saying, I had so-and-so here, and they brought home drums. They said to you, my father was here, I wasn't, and I want to make sure they're with the rightful owner. And my husband said, yes, they did arrive, and I'm very grateful and thankful that they were dropped off. I didn't have to make the trip. And the gentleman, the distributor, said he just wanted to make sure that they were returned to the right person, and he didn't want it to be taken and given to somebody it shouldn't have, and to make sure the process next time was checked in a little bit further. And we said there's no problem. We really appreciate it. We're very close over here. And the distributor said, well, I didn't realize that all of you are all connected over here because we're so neighborly and friendly with maple syrup producers in our neighborhood, farmers in our neighborhood, that is now sharing with this distributor how close we are and what he's learning, what's happening in this neighborhood. So that's just another demonstration of returning something that is not yours to the rightful owner, and it all worked out well, and we're very grateful to all people involved. For the update on the farmers with crops, as far as corn is concerned, here locally in central New York, most of the surrounding farms have their corn chopped and put away for the winter. So progression has been made that way. The fall here has been a little mild, so they've been able to get right after it, unlike our wet summer when they were trying to do hay was a little more trying for them. But all is well as far as it looks like for the corn in this area for the farmers.
We hope you enjoyed the clips of sharing of the precious things that we have been gifted in our life and how we're stewards over, and how the journey is playing out with the cow that has arrived on our property that does not belong to us, that we are getting to its rightful owner, and the steps we're taking to do that. And I want to break it out a little bit further to you that the time and energy in that in more detail, it would be getting the phone call, going over and realizing that the cow out, as everybody was thinking, it's our cow. It's not our cow. And you can leave it at that, but that's not what we're to do. We're to find the rightful owner. So it began with, speaking to my husband, because he's in another town away doing some work in the woods, so he couldn't be there. It's talking to some farmers, various farmers, and asking if it's their cow, taking pictures and going and talking to people, and no, it's not our cow, and then keep going. And in the midst of all that, I want to encourage you that I was praying, and that encourage you to pray. I mean, pray about everything, even about this cow that's not yours, and who does it belong to? Lead me, Lord, of where to go and what to do. fences. We had to look at to make sure that this cow, that he didn't do any damage to the pastures that we just got set in for our cows this summer and fall. So we had to, search that out, and it wasn't just us, it was the farm that we ran off from. That farmer was out there helping us look for damage, how to maneuver this cow. He ran off, but he came back, and then he got himself in a situation where we were able to corral him, so that meant moving gates. And then from there he gets moved into our pasture because we're hoping to get him down into where the cows are. So at feeding time, last night, we're feeding this animal who's now in our pasture, and the owner has not come yet. We're going to give it a few days to let this cow just get settled and not be all nervous and wild, and let him know it's okay so that we could possibly corral him and then get him in a trailer to deliver him home. So it's time, it's money, it's energy, it's beyond what we have as a normal routine that's been added to something that wasn't even ours, that we are taking care of until the rightful owner comes. So that's our duty and responsibility as Christians. It's not about what we want or like, it's about what's right. And so a way to demonstrate to you that and neighbors, I have to tell you, we had neighbors coming by like, your cow's out, and people are looking and recognizing them like, well, we see a cow out, but we weren't sure it was yours because it didn't look like one of yours, but letting us know, we're getting messages, just supporting each other as a community, as neighbors, and love your neighbors, you love yourself. And young boy who lives down the road, he was concerned, and he reached out through an adult to check to see if it was our cow out. So I have to say that in the midst of it causing more work of an animal that wasn't ours, showed up at our property, the love is being poured out in the support of the community, and supporting each other as neighbors has been exhibited here, and wonderful, and I appreciate that. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's been helping us work through this situation. So you're never alone in anything. It's anything that comes by somebody's life, there's other people that are affected by it. So we have gratitude here, and we are happy that we're able to secure this animal safely, and we'll keep you abreast of how it plays out, the ending of him getting home. But right now he's with us, and we're doing what's right. So in the meantime, we're trying to get him to the rightful owner, and he's not ours to keep. Though he walked over to our property, we need to return it to the rightful owner and do what's right. So may this encourage you in your walk and your family to, if you have something that you find that's not yours, return it to the rightful owner and do all the crisis demands. Do what's right. Well, we're back in the farmhouse. It's just before lunch, and I'm getting actually a soup ready for lunch. The boys are out in the woods, and the sun is nice and bright, but it is 36, 37 degrees out right now, so I know when they get home they're going to want something warm and filling. So here is an old recipe they have, but I've had to tweak it through the years, and I just want to reiterate at home with you that don't be afraid to add your own little twist on some recipes, and just take a chance and work with it, play with it to come out to what you and your family really enjoy. That's what I do here. The worst is you don't like it, you won't make it again, or the best is you'll be like, oh, that's a family favorite. So what we've got going is corn chowder. Now this particular recipe is in an old book of mine, but it calls for fresh corn chowder, which is taking the corn from the cob and shaving it down and making it from that. That's not what we're doing. Right now I've got frozen corn that I'm going to be using in replace of that. Instead of just corn in this soup, we're actually going to add potato and ham. Over on the stove I've got onion that I had a nice big onion. I diced it up with a little butter, and I'm just reducing it down. And I'm going to bring that over to us now. And it's a little bit different when the recipe calls for, because that's how I like to do it. So I've started to just tenderize these onions that are in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take some potatoes. I took on 2 potatoes, let's say, and I just diced them up because I want to add those in. I'm going to do that, put that in the pan. I've got the skin on these because they're fresh potatoes. If you have ones that need to be home, the skin removed, that's fine too. And I had a spiral ham that we had cooked up a while ago. I froze what we didn't use, and we've been pulling out for different dishes. And I'm going to put some ham in here. So this is spiral ham. I diced it up. I'm going to throw it in here as well. Warm that up. And that actually put that on the stove for a few minutes. So throw that in. Now it called for, let's see, what did it call for? 6 medium ears of corn. Well, I just ballparked it. What I usually do is get a bag, and this is about 14 to 16 ounces of corn that I'm going to put into this recipe. So I'm going to stir that around. And what I got to do is call for a half a cup of water, because I'm going to throw this on the stove for a few minutes, and I'm going to get it brewing up and then simmer it for like 15 minutes. That's going to soften up everything. And then we'll come back to what we're going to be doing with the milk and the egg, and to put all this together. I'm going to put a little salt in there it called for. And stir that again. And share with you the finalization of this soup. It's quick and easy and filling, and one I'm sure that you and your family will enjoy. So hold on. Okay, so we're at the stove. We've had what I had over at the counter. I brought over here, and I've been simmering it for about 15 minutes, which is the corn, the onion, the potato, and the ham. And now what it calls for is, I'm going back to this recipe because if you want to make the chowder part, you want to follow this closely. It says to take 3.5 cups of milk, what I'm going to pour in here now. Put that on low. So 3.5 cups of milk. I already have 4 poured, which is the total recipe, but I'm going to do 3.5 cups of milk. Let's see if I get this down here. Shouldn't take much. There's a cup. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to put a little more butter in there. I'll just set a little bit up. I'm going to stir this together. So now we just put 3.5 cups of milk in, a little more salt and pepper. You can do it however you please. How much depends on your desire and what you know that your taste buds are. Stir that around. Okay, so then you're going to take this half a cup of milk that's left and flour. There's 3 teaspoons of flour that you're going to take. And let me just get that over here. 3 tablespoons of flour. And what did it say? Combine half a cup of milk and the flour. Okay, let's do that. 3. You want the thickening agent. Where's my little whisker? Pull that out here. I'm going to whisk that around. Put that in there. I'm just going to do it like that. Now it's all be smooth when it goes in. Okay, so then you're going to add that into the corn mixture. Like that. Alright. And what you're going to do next is I'm going to stir that up. Cook until it's thickening. Because that flour is going to thicken up with this milk going through. So we're going to turn the heat up. Going to get that brewing. Bring it to a boil. I'll bring you back. I'm going to show you what the last part is, which is to deal with the egg and the content in the pan. Okay, so we're back at this. The substance in here is boiling. Well, it probably shouldn't be boiling too much, but it's bubbly. And just be careful because of that flour in there. It wants to stick to the bottom. You can't walk away like I just did because it'll stick to the bottom. So anyway, it's bubbling, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a scoop of this hot content with this egg that's already beaten up, and because what we don't want to pour the egg into the whole thing because you have scrambled eggs. So we're going to take a little bit of this hot substance, put it into this, stir it around, and then what we're going to do is put it right back into the pan, continue cooking this up. This isn't a total shock to the soup what's happening here. The boys will be home soon, so we can have this for lunch. Again, if you're coming home from a busy day, this is still a quick and easy way to put a hot meal on the table. You could do this with sandwiches, or this could be a meal on its own because it's got potatoes in it and the corn and meat and everything combined, but it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm just going to stir this around and cook it up for a little bit longer. Then you can taste and season into what you like. Let me just give you a birdshot view of here. So there you go. It'll be ready in a few minutes. So from the farmhouse to your home, it is corn chowder with ham and potatoes that we added in. Now a word for the day. We'll find this in Deuteronomy 22, 1 through 4. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep going astray, and hide yourself from them. You shall certainly bring them back to your brother. And if your brother is not near you, or if you do not know him, then you shall bring it to your own house, and it shall remain with you until your brother seeks it out. Then you shall restore it to him. You shall do the same with his donkey. You shall do the same with his garment. With any lost thing of your brother's, which he has lost, you have found, you shall do likewise. You must not hide yourself. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox fall down along the road and hide yourself from them. You shall surely help him, lift them up again. Amen. So until next time, be well.